Hi, Wetton here from Now Spinning Magazine with another little unboxing video, and this time it's Ken Hensley, and this is Past and Present Songs in Time, a Ken Hensley anthology from 1972 to 2021. So before I sum up what I think about it, let's have a look inside the box. So Ken Hensley, Past and Present Songs in Time, a Ken Hensley anthology from 1972 to 2021. Clamshell box from H&E. All the names of the albums are on the back. From the solo CD, which is basically a compilation of some of his tracks from his first solo albums, Glimpse of Glory from 1999, Running Blind from 2002, and then from 2003 we've got The Last Dance, Cold Autumn Sunday from 2005, and from 2011 to 2021, collaborations. So they're single discs. There's nothing fancy about the covers. They've got some nice pictures on them, but they're all taken from the associate albums, really. This is from that picture on the front there is from Proud Words and a Dusty Shelf. So this features tracks from that album, Eager to Please, Free Spirit, and also some Uriah Heep stuff from Echoes in the Dark, Sunrise, Magician's Birthday, Paradise, Poet's Justice, and Roman Doom from Demons and Wizards. So I imagine that a lot of fans may already have those. But it's a different way of listening to them. Glimpse of Glory is next up, and it just simply has the tracks on the back. And then you've got Running Blind, again just a picture of the front album cover and the tracks on the back. The Last Dance, the same. Cold Autumn Sunday, which comes with a couple of bonus tracks, and Collaborations, which features a couple of tracks from his final solo album, A Book of Answers, and then you've got Live Fire, a couple of live tracks, and from Faster, which are great albums, which I know some of you may have. The booklet, it's quite small. There's a little essay, a tiny essay from Steve Weltman in the front cover, which basically gives very, very sparse information about, how this box set was pulled together. I mean, things like saying Running Blind, look out for the final solution. It's very minimalist, really. And then you've got, it's been filled up then with where the tracks are from, and the credits even from the Uriah Heep albums, even though there's only a couple of tracks from there, but you've got the full credits from Free Spirit, Proud Words, Eager to Please, which are also available from Cherry Red. And then for when we get into the detail of Glimpse of Glory, I'm presuming, so Ken Hensley fans tell me this, because I'm not that au fait with this album, is I presume that everything is played by Ken, because there's no background to this album apart from the tracks and the recording details. And then we're on to CD 3 as soon as I turn the page, which does have more details because it's from Ken himself. So this would have been taken directly from the original CD booklet, I imagine. By this time, Ken was a born-again Christian, and he talks a little bit about that as well. And then we've got CD 4, The Last Dance, which again, all the credits I imagine are directly from the original CD, as of Ken Hensley's notes here from Spain, August 2003. Cold Autumn Sunday from 2004. Again, Ken always has written little essays about his music as he releases each album, and they've included that from each album, which I think is really nice. And then the collaborations is just tracks taken from these 3 albums, Ken Hensley and Live Fire, and Ken Hensley Live, which are wonderful albums which I already have in my collection, but it's really good to have, and a nice picture of Ken on the back. So that is Ken Hensley, Past and Present, Songs in Time. That's Ken Hensley, Past and Present, an anthology from 1972 to 2021. Now, before I give an overview of this box set, I just want to remind you that H&E Recordings via Cherry Red have also been responsible for the Bronze Years, which was a small box set which brought together his first 3 solo albums, Proud Words and a Dusty Shelf, and Eager to Please and Free Spirit, plus a DVD of him talking about these albums with Malcolm Dome. And then Tales of Live Fire and Other Mysteries, which is another box set, which is 5 CDs, and again with a solo album, mainly from Live Fire stuff. So this new set brings together some of the material from there, but mainly focuses on the period where this particular batch of albums are quite hard to find. So you've got like this first CD which you saw, which is a compilation of the first 3 albums plus some Uriah Heep stuff, and then you've got one collaborative stuff with Live Fire on as well. But it's going to be the albums A Glimpse of Glory, and if I can find them all as I do this, Running Blind, The Last Dance, and Cold Autumn Sunday that you're going to be interested in. Now, I was not completely au fait with all these albums. I've heard various tracks over the time, I've streamed bits, but actually to play them back to back. And this is the period of Ken's life when he discovered Christianity, 1993. So by the time he got to 1999, his faith had started to deeply influence his music, how he created it, how he wrote about it, how he felt, and how he felt in himself. And some people will find, because some of the songs are overly Christian and religious. It doesn't bother me. I'm a spiritual person, so I just loved it. But one thing that's very apparent in these albums is just how positive the music is. All of these 4 albums, to me, are very special. If you're a Uriah Heep fan, a Ken Hensley fan, just someone who has a love for music and musicians from this period, and obviously we're talking about a period here from 1999, 2002, 2003, 2005. These are all masterclasses in songwriting and performance, and I just love them all. I mean, I say this one is the most openly depicts Ken's movement into, his belief in God, etc. And so you have got songs like Believe in Me, The Joy of Knowing Jesus, etc. But the songs themselves are one after the other. They're wonderful pop rock songs. And after this album, he kind of tones that element down, although it's still there. Now you know it's there because he talks about his movement towards Christianity and being born again in the booklet, in the sleeve notes from the original albums. So even if it's The Last Dance or Running Blind, you can tell that he's a different man. Even on this one with the more metallic cover in a way, with the imagery and all the rest of it. This is just so positive. The only unusual thing about this particular album is the last track, Do You Feel Alright? It's like a dance high energy mix. He must have done that as an experiment. But the rest of the music is like the sequencing is so good. Which I said, I kind of miss Ken so much and how he must have been evolving as a musician at this point. Because let's think about this. When I was growing up, there was Uriah Heep could be seen as a poor man's Deep Purple, which I know is completely wrong, okay? But, it's just the way it was. And, both bands had massive Hammond organ players. John Lawton was a classically trained person who could write a concerto for group and orchestra. The keyboard, the Hammond sound in Deep Purple was a signature part of that band. And Uriah Heep had Ken Hensley. By the time they got to Salisbury, they were also doing a sidelong orchestral piece. And Ken Hensley was playing driven Hammond organ music. So they're kind of the same, but they're not. John Lawton went on to do his more classical-based compositional work, but Ken Hensley is a fantastic vocalist, a superb vocalist, a fantastic lyricist, and an awesome slide guitarist. He could come out from behind his keyboards and be at the front of the stage playing his guitar, and very different musician. And I think this became very apparent when we went through this period of his life, when a lot of this music, he's actually playing a lot of the instruments, and you realise, maybe because of the way his life was changing and what he was becoming immersed in, that his observational standpoint and the way he was writing his lyrics and the material he was writing about was deeper. It's very meaningful. It makes you think. But the song structures, the song composition of could be the opening riffs, the opening melodies. Where is it? There's a off this one, overture. I can't pronounce what it says. Part 1, and then we go to Prelude and Minor Life. It's just over the top, and just sounds like the start of a film. It's fantastic. But then you've got like ballads and rock songs and slide guitar, and all the albums in this set have this kind of flow to them, where it's really been thought out. There's a lot of songs, there's a lot of music here. Each album is about 50 minutes, 55 minutes long, and there's not one duff songs to me amongst them. For anyone who has issues with overly religious music, you won't notice it at all in these 3 albums. And on this one, you'll notice it on probably a couple of songs. But if you just, a bit like Doobie Brothers, Jesus Is Just All Right With Me. If it's a great song and you don't think about it like that, this music will just go into your heart. And anyway, Ken's outlook on life during this period was one of grace, gratitude, acceptance of where he was in his life and what he was doing and what he'd been through and where he was coming out of and how he saw things. And I think I've really, really enjoyed it, and it has made me go back and listen to other Ken stuff. The other thing on the collaborative stuff, there's a couple of tracks from my Book of Answers, so I think it's okay if I just mention that, because I've not reviewed that either separately on here. But this was his last album before he sadly passed away, and this, which is also available, it's available on Splatter Vinyl as well, I believe. But it's highly recommended. And when I listened to this, I really missed what Ken was probably going to do next and what he could have done with this album. And so this box set I am recommending it for people who like Uriah Heep and Ken Hensley, because and if you've already got these albums, then obviously, unless you want to put them together in a little box, but these are actually quite hard to find, these records. And so this is a very, very convenient and cost-effective way of pulling them all together. And for me, it sits together with my other 2 little Ken Hensley box sets. And I've been playing these 4 albums all week. And we've been playing them in the car, and Sue's been saying, gosh, these songs are so good, and they're just so uplifting and so positive. And they are. And, I don't think I really can say much else, really, because I'll end up saying the word fantastic probably a lot. But I've really, really enjoyed it. And I need to do some more stuff on Uriah Heep and Ken pretty soon. But yeah, out now, H&E Recordings, part of Cherry Red Records, Ken Hensley. It makes sense. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting me, and thank you for all the sharing you do of my videos and the website pages, and popping in for a chat on the Facebook group and Twitter and Instagram and everywhere else. It really, really, really makes a big difference, and I'm really, really excited about where all this is going, thanks to your support. So take care, everybody. Keep spinning those discs. Stay safe, and I shall see you very, very soon.